Alright guys, I'm going to go through the examples from our notes today. I'm going to start with examples 19 and 20 there, the you try problems for the box and whisker plots. So we want to calculate the 5-number summary and draw a box plot for this data set. Remember, the data must be in order. We're going to put it smallest to largest in order for us to be able to figure out what these numbers are. So when I reordered it, I got 22, 25, 30, 35, 37, 40, and 70. Okay, smallest to largest. Now I want to, the minimum, well the minimum's easy, it's the smallest number. So we got 22 here. The maximum is the largest number, it's 70. Now to find these three numbers, our quartiles, we're always going to start with quartile 2. It's the middle number. So when I count, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. That's odd. That means there's an exact middle number. When I look, I see 35 is exactly in the middle. When I box it off, I've got 3 numbers to the left and 3 numbers to the right. This is my Q2, or my median. So 35. Then I want the median of the lower half for my Q1. Well, the very middle number here is 25. So we got 25. And the middle number here is 40. That's going to be my Q3. So 40. Remember, a quick check to see if you did this right is when you look, you'll see the same number of numbers between each of the important Q1, Q2, and Q3 numbers. So I got 1, 1, 1, and 1. So it's evenly distributed, so I know I've done right. So I want to graph this. We always have to place this on a number line. When I counted mine, I went ahead and counted by 5. So I started at 20, and 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 65 to 70. So to put your box and whisker plot on here, there's a couple different ways. I like to do my minimum and maximum first. So the minimum, you can either use a straight up and down line or you can use a dot to represent it. I'll go ahead and use a dot. 22, I was approximating where 22 was on my number line. Okay, my maximum number is 70, so I'm going to go over to 70. I'm going to use a dot to represent my maximum number. I'm going to go ahead and label them. This is my minimum. This is my maximum. Now I want to construct the box. The box is made up of Q1, Q2, and Q3. So Q1 falls at 25. I'm going to draw a line here. Q2 is at 35. And Q3 is at 40. So I'm going to connect them all together. There's the box. There's your Q1, Q2, Q3, and then you just join everything together with the whisker. So I could ask you a bunch of analysis questions. I'm going to save that for the next you try example, but this is the basic way that we're going to get our box and whisker plot onto our graph so we can answer questions about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and try example number 20. I've given you the box and whisker plot so we didn't have to construct it again, and I want to answer all of these questions about it. One important thing to remember is in our box and whisker plot that 25% of the data falls within each section. So I'm going to go ahead and just label that to help me remember this. I'm going to label these two. That's my maximum. That's my minimum. Q1, Q2, Q3. Alright, so let's take a look at these questions. The first one it asks us is what is our median? Median is the same as Q2, so when I go and look, that number is 85. So I'll pull out my 85. Q1 lines up with 70. Q2 is the same as median, so they're going to be the same number, so we've got 85. Q3, 95. My minimum number is 55. and my maximum number right here is 100. Now, what are some of these other questions? We've got range. We talked about range yesterday. It's your largest number minus your smallest number. So in this case, it's 100 minus 55, and that's going to be 45. My IQR is Q3 minus Q1. These are all definitions from yesterday. We've got to memorize our words. So Q3 is 95, Q1 is 70, so my IQR is going to be 25. Now, I'm going to ask a variety of different questions, and we're just got to look at the percentages and match everything up. So the lower half of the data means the lower 50%. So here's 50%, and they're the lower two. And they want to know it goes from 55 to 85. Here's 50% of the data. So from 55 to 85. The middle half of the data, that means the middle 50%. Well, the middle 50%, there's 25, 25, 25, 25. The middle 50 will occur within the box. So the box is 70 to 95. The upper half of the data is what is the top 50%. So that's going to go from 85 to 100. And I have two last questions. The lowered 25%. So that's the lowest 25%. So that's just talking about just this whisker. That's from 55 to 70. And then the upper 25% means the upper end of the 25%. So there's just 25% from 95 to 100. All right. So other questions I could ask is like, I have the same number of numbers in this whisker as I do this whisker. This one's much shorter, so that means the numbers are much closer together. They're not as far apart. They're a little more spread out on this whisker is what that means, but they still have the same number of numbers in there. Hopefully that's going to help you with your box and whisker plots, and I will see you tomorrow.